Yeah, I have a client, if a woman even hugs him, he ejaculates.
But what are the reasons for a guy suffering with premature ejaculation? You know, some guys have this impression that when they touch their penis, they've got to ejaculate type thing. They've got no sort of relationship with their penis other than the sexual type.
Another couple of reasons I see is also overconsumption of porn.
This is Between the Sheets by MHC, a podcast about sex, intimacy and relationships. Hi guys, James here from the Men's Health Clinic. Today we're going to be talking to Nic Brewer, our sex and intimacy therapist, and we're going to be talking about premature ejaculation and breaking down some of those myths. I hope you enjoy it. The patients that contact Men's Health Clinic, the main reasons, I would say probably it's weighted sort of 60-40, 60% erectile dysfunction, 40% premature ejaculation, and some of the erectile dysfunction patients require some testosterone and what have you. But what are the reasons for a guy suffering with premature ejaculation? Can we talk about a few of them?
Sure. There's many, James.
Is there?
But we'd be here for a long time. But I'm going to touch on the main ones that I see as the issues with the men that I particularly deal with. So first of all, let's talk about stress.
I know a bit about that.
One of the main things, if you are a stressful person in life, if you have a lot of anxieties or worries, ejaculating can be the body's way of simply getting that release. Okay, like if you are not looking for outside means like a meditation or you're exercising, all of these other things that can help move the energy through the body, a very quick way to unload, literally, is to have that stress release. So taking care of stress. So I always look at their lifestyle.
And that can make a guy ejaculate prematurely. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Too many Kegels. We have to make sure if we're giving the clients Kegel exercises, not just the tightening part, because a lot of information I see out there, it's just this constant on, tighten, hold, which again is creating a lot of tension in that area of the body. So just like if you're going to go to the gym and lift, you've also got to stretch, right?
Good point, yeah.
So when you do your Kegels, make sure you're also relaxing. So it's hold, relax.
Yeah.
So maybe incorrect Kegels. Then we have performance anxiety. So performance anxiety, you can either suffer from ED and lose your erection altogether, or the opposite can happen. You're so excited or horny or just...
You release too quickly.
Yeah. Maybe you've been married for 20 years and you only get sex once a year. How exciting do you think that's going to be? Because you don't know when you're going to get it again. So
one releases,
exactly. So just that performance of will I get it or how will I be in the act? Just anything where the men are overthinking in general can have a...
Because you can have it quite chronic and we have some patients where they ejaculate before they even get to the act, before they pull their pants down, some of them. It must be horrific.
I do have a client like that at the moment.
Really?
If a woman even hugs him, he ejaculates. Wow. So we've got a bit of work to do with him because he's just that sensitive. But what we're looking at essentially, James, is the way the nervous system has been conditioned from an early age. Not necessarily, because it can happen later in life. As I said, if you end up in a marriage that's quite sexless, the PE can come on later in life because
we do hear that,
Yeah, you're excited to get it and you don't know when you're going to get it, and it's just...
So it's not necessarily just a young man's problem.
No, it's not. But I usually ask a guy, when you first started to masturbate, how did you do it? Were you scared or... worried your brother's going to walk into your bedroom or mum will be home in 5 minutes?
Right.
Or you're trying to masturbate as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
This now sets up that wiring.
Maybe
in
they
the
got
brain.
in trouble if they were caught masturbating
Correct.
or something.
Yeah. So now it's a secret. And so however we learn to masturbate or have sex with ourselves, usually we'll take that into when we start having sex.
So you ask all those questions and go back, do a bit of a historical review.
Yeah, sometimes they've got to think a way back, but they'll say, I've always just, it's been a means to an end. I had my penis on it all day and doing it as much as I could. It was not this sense of taking your time. So, of course, when you're with a real girl or woman, that nervous response, A equals B equals C, without really even being able to know or control it.
Yeah, because you were saying the other day that, some guys have this impression that when they touch their penis, then they've got to ejaculate type thing. They've got no sort of relationship with their penis other than the sexual type thing. Is that
Correct,
right? Yeah,
correct. And that's another reason that there is this hyper focus, on the sensitivity of the performing, the ejaculating, a means to an end. So again, they've conditioned themselves that sex means a release. It means an orgasm. And so once it's just like anything, the awareness, if you never question that there could be other ways or other ways of having sex, you will just go to your default program.
Yeah.
So it is that hyper focus on performance rather than the whole journey. Yeah.
What other reasons are there?
So we have, as I mentioned, we've got stress and anxiety. If you tend to be more an anxious person in life, you're not going to be any different in the bedroom. You're going to worry and overthink things. Then we also have, which is an interesting one, this is where penis wisdom comes in. I've been reading an interesting book lately about existential wisdom of the penis.
Wisdom.
Penis wisdom.
What does that mean?
Well, most men, and again, I always say this in my complimentary calls, is that most men, when their penis goes south, so to speak, or into hibernation, they blame their penis, okay? They're like, what's wrong with you? You're the problem. And I like to kind of enlighten them that the penis is actually their best friend or their GPS. It's not actually their worst enemy. He's actually a clue to telling you there's something not quite okay, whether that's the relationship, you're not being honest, you don't want to be there anymore, whether it is you're too fixated on your business, you're not really interested in sex, but you're trying to fool your body into it. So pay attention. He's actually trying to tell you something.
Definitely. I was talking to Dr. Surin about this the other day, and he said it could be a prerequisite for health issues as well. But
also, so interestingly, it can be a sign of fear of intimacy with men.
Fear of intimacy.
A fear of intimacy. Now, of really being seen, being vulnerable, if they've never had that experience in a relationship. Again, maybe porn has influenced their sexual experience of it's I've got to show up as this, porn actor, and it's all a bit contrived.
She won't like me or he won't like me if I'm not this person.
Without the connection and that real lovemaking, I think the percentage or statistics is 70% of married couples don't even look at each other when they make love. There's a lot of doggy style or behind. There's this lack of intimacy and connection. So a lot of men actually fear being seen and taking their time and lovemaking. They prefer to fuck, shall we speak. So this getting it done and getting it out of the way is their way of getting in, getting out of there without having to give too much.
That makes sense.
Open their heart, let's say.
Yeah.
Now, this is obviously a lot of the times unconscious. Men aren't going in there going, I'm afraid to open my heart. I'll just come in a minute. This is not going on in a conscious level.
I see.
But these sort of issues are much deeper. And again, this is where the penis wisdom comes in. Perhaps you really don't want to face a relationship issue. You've had a lot of conflict. You're actually quite turned off by your partner anyway. So it's just, but I still want to get off. So it's a way of getting your need met without actually having to really commit into the relationship or even be honest with yourself. So, there's some of the reasons.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. So there's various reasons then, really.
Yeah, another couple of reasons I see is also the overconsumption of porn. So again, if it's just a means to an end.
It's like a wham bam, thank you ma'am thing type setup. Yeah.
So again, you're training your nervous system to get excited and to ejaculate, in minutes.
Yes.
Once you go back to your partner, it's going to be very hard to slow that process down and make love for hours, especially if maybe you've been a single guy for years and you've relied on the porn now to start stretching lovemaking out. They've lost
Which is
control.
why it makes sense when you said in an earlier episode that you give people homework, give these guys homework to do, so and to enjoy the experience of masturbation as opposed to a wham bam thank you ma'am type situation. Yeah.
Because I say how you make love to yourself is how you're going to make love to your partner. So
that's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the other thing is this jackhammer style, guys just going in way too soon and too fast, and they're
without any foreplay and what have you.
Yeah, and not aware of their breathing. They're not slowing the whole thing down. So if you go in too fast, the stimulation's going to be there and it's over.
Yeah.
Hey guys, take your time. What's the rush? And I'm sure the women would appreciate that a little bit
So
more.
it's reconditioning their minds, their techniques.
Yeah. And again, if you've been doing the same thing for 20 years with the same partner and maybe she's putting up with it, maybe she doesn't even want to be there. So there is also this sense of the man picking up on that. She doesn't really enjoy it, so I'm just going to have my fun and get off. So
sad.
It is very sad. So I guess the main thing I do with premature ejaculation, mindfulness. So again, we start to do sort of the mindful teeth cleaning, showering, just getting them a little bit more connected into their body, teaching them how to breathe. The porn has to go because if they're ejaculating in under a minute, you've got no time to even realize or have any awareness around what is my breath doing or where am I.
Break that pattern, basically. Stop.
Yeah. So if you're fixated on a screen, you can't be knowing how quickly you're about to ejaculate. So we need to take all the external factors away and come back into the body and slow it all down. So I give them a mindful masturbation exercise.
Is that where they masturbate but don't ejaculate and stop?
Correct.
Yeah.
So we build on, they do a timer. First they have to relax. So we do a lot of, I'm not there, but getting them to just focus on their breath, do a lot of breathing in through the nose and a big, so that big external sigh. There's something about an audible sigh that relaxes the nervous system versus just.
That's probably why I do it all day, trying to relax.
You know that feeling, James, when you sit down at the end of the day and you're like.
In fact, my wife says to me, why do you keep doing that? I'm like, I guess that it's me trying to relax, isn't it?
It absolutely is. So we do it unconsciously.
Yeah.
Our body knows how to relax us. So
in a sexual environment, that can be really useful.
Yes. So I get them to lay on the bed, do about 10, 20 deep sighing breaths just to get themselves prepared. And then they will set a timer. And again, depending on, how long they're lasting, maybe we start at 5 minutes. Now, what we're trying to do is find their 80% arousal response rate level.
Okay, so why 80%?
Once you're past 80%, it's like a runaway train. If you get to, over that mark, it's like you've lost control. So you need to be in your body without overthinking the process, but to breathe and gently masturbate, slowly touch the penis. And start sort of saying, maybe I'm about at 50%, 60%. Okay, I'm getting close to 80. And this is an arbitrary, subjective number, of course. Every man's going to be different.
Well, yeah. No, I've taken it for granted because you kind of, you sort of form your own style as you grow up. And, as a youngster, of course, you get that urge. But I used to think of England or something, think of like a person that was a relation or something, and it would immediately stop me from having that feeling. But some guys just need to understand how to do it, don't they?
Exactly.
How to control themselves.
So you can imagine if it's just hand on penis and watching porn, you wouldn't know if you're at 50 or 100. It's over, okay?
Yeah.
So that's why, first of all, we need no porn or fantasy. They need to be breathing. and feeling that percentage. Once they think, and of course the first few times are hit and miss, they may ejaculate.
Yeah.
But that's the homework, to come back and work it out.
Would you recommend somebody that's perhaps suffering with premature ejaculation, that's starting dating or what have you, would you recommend that they perhaps masturbate before they go on the date, or just to sort of relieve themselves a little bit so that's out of the way, or does that not make any difference?
Not really, because you see how we're bringing the focus back to penetration and sex and ejaculation. Are we even going to be having sex that night? I mean, again, we need to be individualized with our approach. It would depend on that exact person's situation. But why are we trying to make ejaculation a problem?
Yeah, it's
here?
not mastering it, is it?
No, it's just trying to head it off for something better or later. We're not in the present moment. Let's just deal. So I guess getting back to when you learn how to find your 80% and control it. So, sorry, just to finish off that exercise, they would take their hands off once they thought they were at 80, take another couple of breaths, and then start again. Now, they may only get to do that for 2 or 3 rounds, and then the timer's gone off. Okay, but they've successfully...
They can increase every time.
Correct.
It's like exercising.
So 1 minute, 2 minutes,
Great.
until we're up to half an hour.
Step by step.
Exactly. I have a young guy at the moment, and he's been doing this. He's single. Yeah, good-looking young guy. He's just, single, and he's been doing his homework religiously. Finally was with a woman, and, it went really well. He was so able to be in his body.
How good is
and
that? Brilliant.
control
Well
it.
done.
Yeah, and it was great. And then she wanted to give him a blowjob later on, and he was very much in control, and she was putting the pressure on. Oh, he actually said, what's this sex therapist teaching you? Why can't I make you ejaculate?
Wow,
I
that's
actually got that feedback. It was
fantastic.
quite funny.
Well done.
But you can see the pressure women put on the men. He was like, I'm good. Like, I'm enjoying it. Let me enjoy it.
Yeah.
No, I want you to come. I want you to come. So it was a very insightful.
What a turnaround.
Very, exactly.
Excellent.
So, that's just one of the methods that we use. So
Makes so much sense, yeah.
But as far as what you just asked me, would I encourage them to masturbate? No, I actually encourage, once I have them under control, is to stop ejaculating so much, to save that ejaculation. Why masturbate in the week? Save it for your partner and learn to slow down. Take a break. Like, if you think you're getting close to your 80, go back to just kissing and cuddling and playing. What is this fixation on penetrating and ejaculating all the
It's
time?
reframing the thinking, isn't it, all around sex? Yeah.
In every aspect. It doesn't matter if it's PE, ED. It is just about enjoying the ride, not the destination.
Absolutely.
That old cliche. Yeah.
Totally. That makes a lot of sense.
So I think one of the aspects to PE, there's so much shame
There is,
around it, and the guys feel, I guess, less than manly or less than masculine, shall we say. So what I'm a big advocate of, look, you've got to fake it till you make it. You've got to sort of trust the process here. You're doing your homework, but in the meantime, if you're with
Fake it till you make it. What do you mean?
If you're with a woman and you know your tendency is to ejaculate very quickly, then make it about her. Like, hey, if you do ejaculate, why slink away with your tail between your legs and
don't be shamed.
Exactly. Yeah. A woman, let's be honest, okay, we enjoy penetration, but you've got a mouth, you've got a tongue, you've got fingers. What I see a lot is the men just, the whole thing's over now, and the woman is left, unsatisfied.
Yeah, feeling disappointed.
But it's all in the man's attitude. If he was actually able to
It's just begun.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I actually say this to her. I'm
here
sorry.
all night. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but you're just so hot.
Couldn't control myself.
I couldn't
Let's
control
carry
myself.
on.
The woman's going to feel like $1 million.
True.
But honey, lay back. Let me give you a good time now.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, men's egos do get
it's the ego thing.
better of them.
Yeah, that's a juicy part there.
Yeah. Men's egos.
Yeah.
Yep.
So men's egos get in the way.
Yeah, they really do. This loops back to believing that their penis is the star of the movie. And if he isn't there, then let's call the whole thing off. And whilst, it's true, penetration is great, there are so many different things that can be enjoyed. So it's really important that if you can hold that confidence, the man can hold the confidence, then his partner won't pick up and feel like there's something wrong with her or is there something going on. That's what I mean by fake it till you make it. Just carry on. A lot of guys can go a second time. If they have a 10-minute, 15-minute, depending on their age, a break, they can go again. Make light of it. Make a joke.
Yeah.
I just had to get that out of the way because you were so hot. Give me a minute and come here, give me a kiss. You know what I mean? Show that confidence. A woman will lap that up all day long. Yeah,
and that's a bit of training that you give the guys when you're in those sessions.
Yeah,
good training. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but the shame usually overtakes them, and that's what's so sad, because it becomes, then it becomes another situation that next time they're going to be worrying about it again. So we have to give them a new experience in that it can still be good.
Absolutely. If someone's struggling from PE, how many sessions does it normally take to sort of get on top of it?
Well, mostly I deal with between 4 to 6 sessions. Yeah. I mean, I had one case. This guy was getting married, early 30s, lifelong PE. By I think the 4th session, he was doing this mindful masturbation technique and lasting up to 30 minutes by himself.
That's fantastic.
All ready for the wedding day. The honeymoon was fantastic.
Brilliant.
We literally had one session left as a catch-up, and he told me, we had a brilliant honeymoon.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, I mean, this is what makes this job rewarding, hearing those things.
Yeah, I can imagine, absolutely.
And, I'd just like to say after he learns he's 80%, I then get him to bring the partner in.
Really?
And she gets to drive the car, so to speak. He lays back and he guides her and tells her, honey, I'm at 50, 60, 70, hands off, and you can play this game together. Because
if it was the other way round, the guy would be pleased as hell, wouldn't he?
Exactly.
She just came every time we spent 5 minutes together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it becomes
a male problem.
Yeah.
But you include the couples to get it solved.
Yeah. But she can't really get involved until he knows his own body. How can he instruct her if he doesn't know where his 80% level is?
Yeah, it kind of breaks the embarrassment then, and he's sort of pre-prepared.
Yeah. And it becomes fun then. It becomes this game of, let me see if I can stop you from coming. I'm taking control of your orgasm.
Becomes playful and exactly. I can understand how that works well successfully. Yeah. So I think when guys reach out to Men's Health Clinic, they realise they've got a problem, and what we can do is we get them to sort of think about that, and that's how they kind of deal with it. It's the first step is actually realisation, isn't it? Really, it's realising they've got a problem and focusing on I want to fix it and making it a goal.
Yeah.
And then working through steps to get to that point. And you're saying that a lot of men have not even made that connection that they want to get it fixed. They just think it's normal and they're just depressed about it. Is that what happens?
Yeah. And again, awareness is everything. And if we're doing the same thing day in, day out, we never stop to question, could it be different? Why isn't it different? So it even starts off with, I guess, having a level of maturity, like without being condescending. It's about taking ownership and setting an intention before sex. I'm going to make sure as soon as I penetrate just to lay still, and then I'm going to pull out, or I'm going to intend to not ejaculate for 5 minutes, setting a bit of an intention around doing something different. But without that intention, you're just going to go into it like you did every other day of the week.
So I suppose that involves talking to your partner, that's getting them on board. But I suppose the challenge is when you've got a new partner, because not only is it exciting, but you've got the problem as well. So what techniques would you teach somebody that's going out on a first date and the girl wants to have sex on the first date. It's super exciting, right?
Yeah. And again, this is, I use the term fake it till you make it. She may want to have sex, but if this guy is still a bundle of nerves, he may not want to have sex. He may also want to get to know her. So we've got to individualize it. But, I say you have to take charge. Like, women actually do want a man to show that he's confident, okay? So if you don't want to end up in that embarrassment pile, take charge of the situation. Say, lay back, honey, I'm going to pleasure you. If you feel that the arousal is right there, take charge. Say, honey, I'm just, even if you have to say, I've just got to need a bathroom break, go and do some deep breathing.
Yep.
Take control. Come back, pleasure her, kiss. If she's like,
manage it.
I really want to have sex, just say, I mean, you're not going to throw all your cards on the table, but you can say, it's a first time. I don't want to finish too soon. So can we just...
And I'm ever so excited. So
exactly.
Can we do this
so
first?
Hot and you're so sexy. Can we just slow down?
Rather than just silence and dealing with it,
And this is not just a first date problem about communication. I see married couples, which floors me, to be honest, James. I mean, it's the most bizarre concept to me. How can we put our most intimate, private parts inside one another, yet these men write on their questionnaires to the question, is your partner satisfied? I don't know.
Really? Isn't that interesting?
They don't even know if their partner's enjoying it, what's going on. I was
so sad.
Do you ask this? Oh, no, we can't talk about sex. We don't talk about that. We're not comfortable. Do you know what she likes in bed? Oh, God, no, I couldn't ask that. Oh, I went out and bought a toy the other day. She didn't seem to like it. Did you have the conversation?
And that's why couples counselling can be brilliant, I suppose, because sometimes the partner can be sort of closed in over new ideas and that sort of thing, and might be a bit of a prude, in which case that can cause issues for the guy, can't it? So is that why sometimes you invite the partner to come in? You find that's a bit more successful if you involve them both?
Yeah. And that can go so many ways.
Can it?
It's gone a bit sideways well, So there's a whole lot of, you can see this is not a sex problem. It is
if they really love each other, they're up for doing business and getting it solved, basically.
And I'm sure we're going to cover that in another episode, but it is rarely a sex problem. Most of the issues I'm dealing with, it presents as a sex problem. It's an intimacy problem. And I mean by that an emotional intimacy problem, a connection problem, a communication problem. Which
can be deep-rooted.
Yep.
Fascinating.
All sex, I don't care what the problem is, you can't have great sex without communication.
The key is communication.
Full stop. If you can't talk about it, as far as I'm concerned, you shouldn't be having it, because otherwise everyone's in their heads assuming we like this or you like that. No one's asking.
Yeah, so it's breaking down those walls of communication and just, getting it all on the table, and that works really well.
Exactly. I'll give you an example of a sort of a metaphor that I use in the therapy, James, is I'll say to my client, so let's just pretend it's your birthday, James. I bring you a cake, I bring you a New York cheesecake. You're going to think, oh, wow, isn't Nic sweet? What a nice, thoughtful gesture. She's brought me this cake. Sure. But if I really wanted to wow you, wouldn't it be smart to find out what your favorite cake is? What if you don't even like
It's a good way to explain it.
What if your favorite cake is chocolate cake? I'm going to get 10 points, aren't I, rather than 5 for really nailing it.
Just by asking a simple question.
Yeah, but people assume, I like New York cheesecake. Why wouldn't James? But then, heaven forbid, you're actually dairy or lactose intolerant on top of not even liking it. Now we've got a real problem. But people just do what they do without actually even asking questions. So it really, honestly, all loops back to what conversations are we having with our partner?
Yeah.
Can we be honest and say, I feel like I'm letting you down, honey, I'm disappointing you, to get some support rather than,
It's a nice way to do it,
zooming sort of away in shame. And
So therapy is super important for some people. If they can't nail it themselves, then get it all on the table. Have a coach like yourself that can help fix and find these pathways, new pathways, and re-engineer those sort of tracks to stopping that PE, lasting longer, getting a better erection. And it's about it's looking at re-engineering those channels, isn't it? Really,
exactly.
Pathways, great. All right, lovely. Thank you. I'm just running out of things to talk about on that, really. But that's great.
I think that's enough.
No, I think we've got loads there. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Between the Sheets. Thanks for joining us. If you're enjoying this podcast, give it a like and subscribe so we can keep creating content you'll love. Check out the description below for links to our Facebook and Instagram pages to get more updates about Men's Health Clinic. And if you're experiencing any bedroom health issues, please feel free to book an appointment with us through the booking links provided. If you have questions or want to start your treatment for sexual dysfunctions, reach out to Men's Health Clinic. We offer free online consultation and provide custom treatments. Take care, everyone, and keep the conversation going between the sheets.